law enforcement response to the mass shooting at Robb Elementary was a failure. 19 children and their 2 teachers who were stolen from their loved ones should be here today.
I hope that the failures end today and that local officials do what wasn't done that day, do right by the victims and survivors of Robb Elementary.
A scathing review by the Justice Department of the Uvalde school shooting, detailing horrible failures by leadership and a chain of misinformation that has left a community in shambles.
During a news conference today, the U.S. Attorney General said if first responders had followed standard procedures, some victims would be alive today. We have team coverage in Uvalde. Investigative reporter Cheryl Mercedes and producer Tina Macias have been going over that entire DOJ report.
And Anayeli Ruiz, one of the first reporters on location following the school massacre, is back in Uvalde talking with families there. We begin with Cheryl Mercedes. What is the latest, Cheryl?
Hey, Ron Reka, this 600-page report right here represents what the DOJ says is 14,000 pieces of key evidence, more than 260 interviews, and months of extensive reviews of policies and procedures of the law enforcement agencies that responded to the tragedy here at Robb Elementary School.
The critical incident report outlines a series of major failures that resulted in the loss of 21 lives on May 24, 2022. One of the most significant, that within minutes of arriving inside the school, responders went from treating the scene as an active shooter situation to handling the shooter as if he was a barricaded subject. The DOJ says that caused law enforcement to shift their focus to evacuating students and staff in other classrooms rather than rescuing victims trapped with the shooter. During a news conference this morning, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said DOJ reviewers also found many officers were not trained to handle this type of scene.
Some lacked any active shooter training at all. Some had inappropriate training. Some lacked critical incident response training. And the vast majority had never trained together with different agencies.
This report also points out failures in leadership, command, and coordination among the agencies that responded here at Robb Elementary School. And it also points out a breakdown in communication, which AG Garland says led to family members desperately, still today, searching for answers. Ron, Reka?
Yeah, Cheryl, it is such a comprehensive report, but people want to know what's next. What about criminal charges?
So when asked about that today, AG Garland said that would be up to the attorney, or to the district attorney here, rather, and not his department. His department existed solely on the call and the heels of the former mayor here, Don McLaughlin, to review this incident extensively and give some answers in perspective, and also what some agencies across the country can take from this in future instances to prevent such a thing from happening again. Ron, Reka?
All right, thank you so much, Cheryl Mercedes.
Right now, Anayeli Ruiz is joining us with reaction from the victims' families. Anayeli, you met many of these families the day of the shooting.
That's right, and these families tell me this is an investigation they had been awaiting for a long time. Although they know it's not a criminal or a civil investigation, they do hope that this investigation calls out the people they say failed to do their job. Now take a look. These families were present today during the press conference by the Attorney General that he held today, where he discussed these findings after the report was released. Some families getting emotional after they were told by one of the highest authorities in the country that your kids were failed. But it's something these families tell us they knew, and a sense of relief, some say, to see it on a paper by the DOJ. And now they hope that local and state authorities do something about these failures.
Do right by the victims and survivors of Robb Elementary. Terminations, criminal prosecutions. And our state and federal government enact sensible gun laws.
And again, many of these families tell us it's a lengthy report. They have not read it all. But one of the surprising facts parents learned in the report was the fact that the crime scene was compromised. But again, many of them still combing through all of this evidence. There's hundreds of pages. They say they have not been able to review yet at this time. And by the way, some of the families telling me that they heard from the DOJ that the DOJ plans to meet with the district attorney's office. We did reach out to the DOJ's office and are waiting for a response. Reporting live in Uvalde, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Yeah, an emotional day for those families who essentially have to relive that terrible day through the details of this report. Anieli, thank you.